is the first page, because on the first page is how you prioritize your actual EKGs. The cover of this is huge. The actual cover gave you an answer on the test. In other words, which EKGs are more important than others? This is in order. So what do you say is the most important one?
V-fib.
V-fib, right? What's after that?
V-fib.
Then what?
PVC.
Yes. Now, here is what I need you to do for your girl. Do you see how you have PVCs? At the end of the sentence, please write torsades. That's the next one, torsades. Now remember, your OMG packet is a sneak peek of everything. So this is torsades. And if you do me a favor and pull up your Oh My God packet, we were on pharmacology if you'll remember. Open up your Oh My God packet to page 7. I want to show you something. If you look at page 7, the bold print, the last bold print is your EKGs. Do you see it? Mm-hmm. You sure? Yes. Okay, page 7, right? The last, help your cousin. We ain't doing this today. Help her. Okay, so if you look at the EKG prioritization order, what does it say?
V-fib, V-tap, TVC, torsades, A-fib, A-flutter, SVT.
That's the order. You got it. Now, on here, you got your V-fib, your V-tach, your PVCs, and what did I just tell you to do? Throw torsades in there. And then you got your A-fib and your A-flutter. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, now this is something else I need you to know. The last line on this page, the last line, what does it say? Complication, stroke. Didn't we just say that earlier? We said the complication of dysrhythmias oftentimes is a stroke, in particular AFib and A-flutter. Are you still with me? Yes. All right, now let's go to the bottom, because then we got a little extra love at the bottom of the page. If you look at the bottom of the page, remember, this is as easy as also remembering how the order goes for your alphabet. P, Q, R, S, T. That's very important that you know the order of your alphabet, and everybody here does, so don't act crazy. You know P comes before QRS, and you know T comes after QRS. Are you with me? Yes. Now, so if we look at the bottom of the page, the very first thing we can kind of notice on an EKG, and the place where we kind of start with the big old complex, is we start with the P. What I need you to write on this page for your P wave is that this is a contraction of the atria. That's what it is. It's your atria contracting. Now, you got to remember what I said earlier. The atria were the tops of the heart. Remember, y'all? The atria was in the top part, the ventricle at the bottom. Remember? Okay, so this is all about the atria, and you got to think about it. The atria in the heart, the atrias in the heart are smaller than the ventricles. So therefore, the P wave is smaller than the QRS. Look at that. Look at that thing. Look at that complex at the bottom of your paper. See how small the P is? Here's another tip. The P wave is smooth and a half moon. It's smooth and it's like a half moon. Every now and then it's like this, but most of the time it's smooth. You got me? The QRS, that ain't smooth because you got 3 letters. The QRS complex is a big old spike with the R at the top of the spike. Are you with me? When you count them damn R's, you got your heart rate. Simple. When you count those R's, you get your heart rate. Now, in a real EKG, not the one down at the bottom of this page spread out so you can read it, you are going to see this P wave. Here we go. You're going to see that P wave, boom, hugged up against the QRS immediately before it. If there's a pause and it's not immediately before it, if it's a P wave and then a QRS, that was a long ass pause. That's what heart block is. That's heart block all fucking day. A P better be right up against a QRS. If it's not, it's heart block. Heart block is the least likely EKG on NCLEX. Least likely. And I'll show you the most common. But that one, heart blocks, are least likely. The T wave looks like a bigger P. Again, this T wave looks like a bigger P. And it always comes after the big spiky thing. You got it? And the last thing I'm going to say about that T, because it's on your test, is that the T wave is all about potassium. So your T can look real spiky if your potassium is high. And we call that a peaked T wave. Now, I told you, let's see where you following me at. I told you the P wave was a contraction of the atrium. Remember that? Mm-hmm. What do you think this big ass QRS is? Yes. A contraction of the ventricles. Makes sense. Ventricles are huge. They have to have a big contraction. A little bitty contraction ain't gonna fucking work. They need a big contraction. Now, real quick, I'm gonna trace some blood through my heart so you can see what I mean about big versus little. Here we go, y'all. Think of it like this. The blood from your nose and your toes has got to come up to the heart through, if it's going to be my torso, actually my shoulders and my head. Listen, I know you post lunch, you better wake the fuck up. If it's coming from my shoulders, my arms, and my head, this venous blood is going through the superior vena cava. Think about an elevator. And it's going right into the heart. Are you still there? If it's coming up from my feet, my ankles, my calves, my thighs, my groin, and my abdomen, it's coming up the inferior vena cava. They're the same structure. It's just, are you going up the elevator to get off on 10? Or is you coming down the elevator to get off on 10? Does it make sense? Same fucking elevator. I got to get that through your head. This vena cava is the biggest vein in the entire body. It dumps all of this venous blood with no oxygen in it through the right atria. The right atria only has to contract gently to send the blood through the tricuspid valve to the right ventricle. So let's stop and think about that. Does your P wave have to be that big? No. You ain't went no damn where. You went from upstairs to downstairs. I think you can handle it with a little contraction. On the other hand, the right ventricle, bigger, much bigger than an atria, has to pump blood forcibly enough to get it through your lungs through that pulmonary artery we talked about earlier. And remember how expansive your lungs are. And then remember that the tiniest itty bitty parts of your lungs are called alveoli. And it is the alveoli where the venous blood dumps off CO2 and picks up oxygen and comes right back out those lungs, back into the heart through the left side. We done with the right side. The right side has no oxygen. The right side is venous. The right side is sending blood to the lungs. Because the ventricle has to pump a little bit more blood, pump a little bit harder, the ventricle is bigger, the QRS is bigger. When we come back into the heart from the lungs, this blood is oxygenated. It's called arterial blood. Arterial blood is oxygen all day, venous is not. When that blood comes in from the heart, it's going to go where? Left atria. The left atria doesn't have to pump it very far. It just has to kick it downstairs to the what? Left ventricle. Tricuspid, bicuspid. What's another name for bicuspid? Mitral valve. Our issue, this is important, our issue on this side of the heart is that mitral valve, that bicuspid valve, same thing, can be diseased. If it's diseased, you're gonna get AFib. It's not on the right side. It's only on the left. AFib and A-flutter can only originate from the left. So you have this valve that can get a disease. And very often that disease came from strep.
From what?
Strep throat.
Okay.
Back in the day, strep throat.
Wow.
Oh yeah, wow.
Dang, it messed up.
Yes, so you might be wondering if you're intelligent. You might have wondered over these last few years, why does it seem like all the nursing floors have added telemetry? Why is that such a big deal? Why did we suddenly make you guys responsible for EKGs? Why does it seem like everybody and their fucking mother-in-law has AFib? Oh, I got a simple answer. And that's why when you know where you come from, you'll know where the fuck you're going. So when they try to take your history out of the books, you ought to lose your mind over it, because it's going to provide clarity for your future. So here we go. When did penicillin come out? What year?
1970.
No one does.
Like 30.
The 1930s. Before that, was there a cure for strep throat?
No.
Hell no. When it came out in the 1930s, penicillin, it gave us a way to treat strep. Your grandmothers, well, in your cases, because you're young, your great-grandmothers and my grandmother, they had strep just like our kids get. But when they didn't have a cure, let's not kid each other, it may have come out in the 1930s, but it wasn't in full-blown use to the 1940s. And if you were black, your punk ass ain't see that shit to the 1960s. Because let us never forget our hospitals were inferior. Are you with me? So there is a generation of people that have valvular disease from untreated strep. Mitral valve, rheumatic fever, is very common in these people back in the day. Did they have formal diagnosis? Fuck no, because they couldn't even go to some hospitals. For the record, I couldn't go to the Cleveland Clinic if I wanted to.
I did hear that.
You better. There was only one hospital you could go to, and that was Metro.
Really? Yeah, I did hear
Yeah,
about it.
that's why it was called county. So you were getting undiagnosed anyway. But now, who are these people? There are elderly, there are baby boomers, and they all got AFib and A-flutter because of strep back in the day. That's critical. That's very important to your understanding of valvular disease, particularly the mitral valve.
Untreated
Strep. Untreated strep.
But is that not the same cause for
Mm-hmm.
the same strep?
Oh yeah, group A strep can cause that too.
So it affects both the
Kidneys and the heart. Okay, so now that's the backdrop. So let's do it because you guys are thebomb.com. You get it now. You understand that when this blood comes from the right or the left atria to the left ventricle, it doesn't have to go far. It's a little bitty P wave. But now let's think about the left ventricle. It's got the biggest job of all. The left ventricle has to pump the blood where? Through the whole body by way of the aorta. Oh my God. Of course the QRS is huge. Now, it gets gooder and gooder. Yeah, I said it. This QRS, every time there is drama with it, is a ventricular problem. This P wave, every time there is drama around it, is an atrial problem. That's how you're going to understand this. So let's do the damn thing. Open up your packets. Let's go to normal sinus rhythm first. Now, you're going to pay attention when we do the normal sinus rhythm. If you look at this, there's this big ass hill falling off the page at the very beginning. Agree? Okay, so we never look at incomplete complexes. We always look for this, the predictable P wave, because we know our alphabet. And we know if we can find the P, we should be able to find the Q, the R, the S, and the T. So we don't go for dumb shit falling off the page. We look for something that looks like an entire normal complex. That would be this first little bumpity bump. Do you see that first bumpity bump? That is a P. Put a P above it. You are on the wrong page. Your page needs to look like this. Flip it. Flip the whole thing. Flip. Nope. See? Keep it the way you had it and flip it. There you go. See that side right there. There you go. Okay, now, so this little hump is a P. This entire spike, entirely, is a QRS, with the R being at the top of the peak. Are you with me? R at the top. And now I want you to put an R on every single top of the spike. Go across the whole thing and put all your R's on top of the spike. So when I come around, I better see R's. So you got a P, a QRS, and remember we said the T is a bigger mountain. And you have a T. Put your T on there, baby. This is your P, QRS with the R on the top, and your T. Now, if you just look at the strip, here are some things I mentioned. I said that the P wave must be hugged right up close to the QRS. Is it?
Yes.
It is. It's super close, isn't it? I said that the T must be a bigger mountain than the P. And it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boom. That must happen over and over again. And then if we count our R's, we have the rate, R for rate. So what is this rate?
70.
Yes. Now, here's our issue. On the real test, your EKGs will be basically 6-second strips. That's important as hell. Because this is a simulation of a 6-second strip. That's why if you just counted the R's and multiplied it times 10, you could get the rate for 60 seconds, which is a minute. 60 seconds is a minute. This is a 6-second strip. You multiply 6 times 10, you got 60 seconds. Y'all all right?
Yes.
That's how you gonna do this shit, okay? It's that fucking simple. The number 1 strip on your test is the first strip in this packet. Go to strip number 1. What kind of second strip is this? No. 6-second strip. Agree?
Yes.
How many 6s does it take to make a minute? 10. See, I got all of y'all on that one. Because 6 seconds times 10 gives you 60 seconds, which is minute. And when we're looking at how many heartbeats a minute, that's your pulse. Are you one of those like me whose pulse is always high because I have hyperthyroid and you're 90 beats a minute? Or are you nice and mellow and you're 60 beats a minute? Or are you this guy? How many beats a minute is this? 4. So 4 times 10 is 40. And again, beloved, make sure the R's are on the top of your spikes because all you're doing is counting the R's. For your heart rate, all you're doing is counting the R's. That's it. And multiplying that motherfucker times 10. And this is the number 1 heart rate on your test. Especially if you're an LPN. You got this.
What, number 2?
Number 1, where have you been, baby?
I've been there, but I just...
No, you ain't been there. You ain't been there.
I am. Number 1 is 4.
Number 1. Yeah, you got it. You kind of with me. Okay, now look at this, y'all. Let's have a little fun with it, though, because we got some rules to follow. Okay, let's look at it real close. Is the P wave hugged up?
Yep.
It is. And what was the P wave again? A contraction of the atria. What was the QRS? Contraction of the ventricle. What was the T wave? It was potassium. I thought. That's what I taught y'all. Where the fuck y'all get all that fancy shit from? Okay? Now, so we got this on a test, a real test. We got it. Now, here's our issue. Do you agree that the T wave is bigger than the P wave? It's a bigger mountain, right? And they all kind of flow together. P, QRST. They're all together. That's called a complex. When you hear people say, she's got some real fucked up complexes, it means all of that went crazy. Okay? Now, this is a bradycardia. You knew that. I'm not telling you anything you didn't know. Let's diagnose and treat. When we diagnose a Brady, if there are no symptoms, and write it on your strip, if there are no symptoms, we leave it alone unless it's under 40, then you got problems. So no S&S equals, okay, monitor, continue to monitor, right?